चेतसा सर्वकर्माणि मयि सन्न्यस्य मत्परः बुद्धिर्योगम् उपाश्रित्य मच्चित्तः सततं भव. So 57. And prior to that, earlier we were saying सर्व कर्मण्यपि सदा कुर्वाणः मत् व्यपाश्रयः मत् प्रसादात् अवाप्नोति शाश्वतं पदम अव्ययम् इति. When we were discussing this point, that mad vyapasrayah, and that to sada, ever depending on me. So that means we brought how this karma yogi surrenders to Ishtha Devata, number one. So depending upon mere Ishtha Devata is not going to work. Second point comes like doctor, you depend upon doctor. So when you say I depend on my doctor, what does it mean? So whatever your doctor prescribes, you follow the prescription or instructions of the doctor. So here Mad Vyapasraya also, that the one who depends upon the teaching of me. And because of which what happens? We'll be seeing beautifully the way it looks. Then he says, that's not sarva karmani abhi. Even if the person does prasiddhani, that pratisiddhani karmani, pratisiddha and pratisiddha both, she. Famous action pratisiddha and pratisiddha. So that means that which is, not to be done. So there are not to be done actions, prohibitory, what we say. Even if the person does that action, he says, look, when the person surrenders to the deity, what happens? Which will be seeing very carefully in the next verse, very nicely. He says, look, one good thing happens. Mat prasadat. So mat prasadat means what? Because of my grace. Padam. So padam means the ultimate goal. And what is that goal? That is called Shashwatam Abhyam Iti. Abhapnoti. So the person attains Shashwatam, that which is eternal, Abhyam, that which is changeless. The goal, that which is eternal and changeless. Here now, you have to be careful that, look, we have been talking Jnanena eva moksha. Only with the help of Jnanam, there is moksha, there is no other means. But here, how is it possible that Lord Krishna says that by Karma Yoga, one will get moksha, will get me? So you have to supply the point very carefully. What he wants to communicate is when the mind is refrained from ego-based thinking, then that mind is prepared for jnana prapti. Then by jnanena moksha. Why and how? That's why the next verse, that's why I went straight away. Chetasa sarva karmani मयि सन्न्यस्य मत्परः बुद्धिर्योगम् उपाश्रित्य मच्चित्तः सततं भव. So matparah, first thing we need to see. So matparah means what we say, that keeping me, mat here me, the God, as the supreme goal. And where chetasa. Chetasa means viveka buddhya iti. So that means chetasa means with your discriminative thinking, or you can say mentally. Here we need to say, and he says, look, that what is to be done? He says, buddhi yogam upasritya. So what is this buddhi yoga? So buddhi yoga, we say, is called as karma yoga iti. He says, mai, buddhi yoga means mai samahita buddhitvam buddhi yogam tam buddhi yogam iti. So that means what? Samattam yoga uchyate. Already we have discussed. So that is called yoga, karma yoga iti artha. Samattam. Dukhesu anudvignamanaha. Sukhesu vigataspruhaha. So the one who is neither craving for, or mind is not craving for sukham, nor running away from dukkham. So here he says, look, here buddhi yoga means karma yoga. So this buddhi here means the thinking process is a bhavana ityartha. So what sort of bhavana? That's what the previous verse, now I can link both. When a person looks at that I am doing everything for my Ishtadevata, or whatever I am doing with dedication to the Lord. That means anything and everything becomes Ishwararpana. That's why very nicely I respect especially Vaishnavites. These are the few things to be learned. Vaishnavites means those who are devotees of Vaishnavas, Vishnus. Lord Vishnu's devotees called Vaishnavas. Without offering to the God, to the deity, they cannot eat anything. In fact, what they do is very nice point to observe. Suppose they cannot offer, because offering is a big process. It's not like some you can do it, no, get out. It's not like that. It's not like you eat with your shoe standing and eating and you go away. No, eating is a ritual. So eating being a ritual, you cannot stand with your shoe and eat and then go away. You have to wash your feet, you have to wash, panchasnanam you have to do supposed to, okay? Before food and after food, panchasnanam is must. So what is panchasnanam? Washing 2 feet, 2 hands and a face. So that is called panchasnanam, 5 things to be washed before food and after food. And it's a process. That is how it takes care of everything. So if they cannot do this, Vaishnavites, you know what they do is, beautiful point I have observed, at least they will put some tulasi leaf and give you. Without tulasi leaf, they will never serve food to anybody if it is not offered. Because they say, if the food is not offered, what we saw in 4th chapter, without offering the food to the God, if you eat, you are a stenaha, you are a thief. You are stealing. It's a very nice concept to be really respected. This is what the culture. So here is being said, when you offer everything to the God, what happens? The first and foremost thing is, you will not have raga and dvesha. Because all your action is like a flower. Each action is one flower. So you are just offering the flower to the deity. So when you offer your action, I can give you an example how simple. You all are karma yogi in one area or other, okay? Not all the time. In one area or other. How? When you are in office, boss says something. Your raga and dvesha. And you know how to make a mess. So without saying no, you do no. Without saying yes, you say yes, So that follows ego, you follows ego. So whenever possible, bend down, whenever. So full of raga and dvesha. So that's why we say corporate world is called ego war. Clear? So full of raga and dvesha. And you know how to politely talk, all these things you do, you know better. Now the same person when comes to home, especially man, I'll come to woman because nowadays women are different. So especially come to man, okay? Same man comes back to home. Whether it is India or overseas makes no difference. All are same, okay? In front of your wife asks something to do. Do you have raga dvesha? Even if you don't like, you have to do. If you don't do, you cannot stay in home. You understand? So that means you are a karma yogi. So coming to woman also, suppose a child asks something, not husband, because more longer you get married, woman becomes more powerful. So man bends down. I hope I am talking some sense for all men, okay? In the beginning, men, later on, as marriage becomes, first year anniversary, second year, 10 year, 20 year. After that, what happens? You discover you are not lion. You are assuming that you are a lion. You discover you are who you are, okay? So, no raga dvesha with reference to your wife. So also, women will not have raga dvesha with reference to child. Can you see this point very carefully? Just exaggerating, don't worry. So, how this happens partially? Okay, you reluctantly do it. A husband does reluctantly for wife. Sometimes mother does reluctantly for the child. But there is no raga dvesha. After all, my child, after all, my wife. Whatever I am doing, I am doing for family. How this happens? Same thing will happen when you have this Ishta Devata Samarpana Bhava. So anything and everything you do, always Ishta Devata takes over. And in your crucial time, only Ishta Devata protects you. But there is little difference here. The difference with reference to house, yes, your husband protects you, your child protects you. Same thing also God protects, then you can say better to dedicate myself for the family. So why this Ishvara and other things? But with reference to family, there is second step is called reluctance. You do reluctantly. That's all. Like somebody said very recently, there is International Women's Day. Why can't there be International Men's Day? Which is also a valid point. If there can be woman commissioner, why cannot be man commissioner? Men are more, tortured by women than women are being tortured by men, present day. So, what I am highlighting here is, because in India now some people are making a movement. Okay, let me not get into too much. So here, there will be reluctance. You will do, but reluctantly. Whereas when Ishtadevata comes in, there is no reluctance at all. This is the second benefit. Why there is no reluctance? Because when Ishtadevata is all the time, that's why he says, Sada Kurbanaha earlier. And here he says, look, Sarva Karmani, also same way. When Ishtadevata comes to the forefront, what generally happens? I consider myself either a karta or bhokta. And whenever I consider karta, because of my Ishta Devata, I say, look, I have got an opportunity to do this. I happen to be an instrument. God has really given me an opportunity. I am lucky enough to get this opportunity. And especially if you look at with wife-husband relationship, suppose wife is sick, or you have some sense of guilt, regret. So wife asks something to do. What you do? With, I cannot say the emotion. You do everything because you consider, Appa, I must not miss this opportunity. Do you do that or not? Because after all, I got this opportunity, how can I miss it? So how that attitude, just catch that emotion. How that happens, same thing happens with reference to any action that is being given. You look at that because you have got an opportunity because of Ishvara. Whereas what will happen, if Ishvara is not there, we'll be saying, don't worry, towards end it will talk. Ahankarat, with ahankara if you do, what will happen? Let me not go into, that will be towards end. So, number one is no reluctance. Whereas when you become bhokta, so bhokta means enjoyer or experiencer. That time you look at two ways. One, we say astrologically, very nicely you also need to understand this astrological standpoint. Whenever there is difficulties, they will say Jnana Karaka Grahas are active. Means the Grahas, the planets, that they are supposed to give you knowledge. That is how astrologically we look at it. Any time you have difficulties, that means you are supposed to learn, because as you know, any tough experience teaches you in a hard way, sometimes a bitter way. But the problem is, if you are not intelligent enough, you repeat the same mistake. That's the problem for you. And this repetition happens because of ahankara. Whereas if Ishvara is there, Ishvara as my Ishta Devata and complete Samarpana Bhavam is there, definitely I cannot repeat either. So that's why this Bhavana is more important. That's what he says, look, Chetasa Sarvakarmani Mai Sanyasya Mat Paraha. So for the person, me as ultimate, because for each one, whether you have job, you have money, you have power, position, relationship is important. That is what is your goal. Just ask yourself. That's why we ask this question before coming to Vedanta. So what is Vedanta? Who comes to Vedanta? That also you need to see. Pariksha Lokan Karma Chitan, the one who has examined this universe very carefully through different works, not straight away coming to Vedanta. It doesn't work. Either you must have done a lot of things in this life or previous life. Don't say that, oh Swamiji, I had done in previous life, straight I came to Vedanta. Yeah, I can see you, okay? The way you talk, the way you walk, the way you carry yourself, it very clearly says whether you have done or not, okay? So don't provoke me too much. However, I think already time is up. New people will be coming, joining. So here I would say that Sarva Karmani, when you do any karma, oh sorry, I made a mistake, Vedanta. So Vedanta means that person comes to Vedanta who understands that what is my goal is not going to be achieved by any means of karma, any means of action. That's why I need to know. And that person comes to Vedanta. Tad Vijnanartham Saiva Gurum Avigachyat Shrotriya Samvitpani. Shrotriya Brahmanishtam Samvitpani. With the attitude to serve, not with the attitude to boss, with the attitude to detect, with the attitude to gain. No. However, if this is the case, that person, here is being said very carefully, when that person starts functioning in life, because of this background, now whatever experience comes, the person accepts as a learning process. And because of that reason, mat prasadat, previous verse said, and here says, buddhi yogam upasrityah. So the person adopting this karma yoga, He says, look, mat chittah, keeping the mind in me, always me, the God, Ishvara is predominant, and that person satatam all the time does, and because of that reason, what happens? Next verse will say, will be able to cross all sort of difficulties in life. So still 10 more, okay, time is up. No, still 10 more minutes are there. I think my mind is fast today, okay? I'm sorry. Because I'm not able to see the watch. So, okay, I'm extremely sorry. My mind is fast. Okay, 10 more minutes are there. Let us enjoy. Appa, this is what. So, okay, good. Sorry. So he says, look. So, buddhi yogam, that means karma yogam, bhava madchitaha. So remains the one who remains like mind fixed on me, and that too all the time. Now when this thing happens, what will happen? We also need to see that when we function, we have two types of, let us say, lifestyle. One is called egocentric lifestyle. Other one is called Ishvara-centric lifestyle. Remember, it's very crucial. We can adopt any one of these two lifestyles. Either I can adopt egocentric lifestyle or Ishvara-centric lifestyle. If I do not adopt Ishvara-centric lifestyle, I'll be forced to follow or live egocentric lifestyle. And interestingly, egocentric lifestyle is nothing which evolves around my insecurities. If you observe yourself, the more you are insecure, the more you are an egoist. The ego becomes stronger in you, not because what you have, please. Not because what you know, but because to avoid what you don't have, to avoid what you don't know. Can you see this point? Whenever your ego comes to forefront, whether it's in office, in house, or anywhere, so ego is not what you have, is what you don't have, you want to avoid, you want to cover up. And interestingly, ego is completely related to my insecurity. So when I adopt egocentric lifestyle, I encourage, I strengthen, I fuel my insecurities. And day by day, my insecurities appears to be sophisticated. Earlier, I was hungry for food. Nowadays, I have money, I am hungry for pizza. This is called sophisticated hunger, you understand? So this egocentric lifestyle makes your insecurities sophisticated. And you always work 24/7 to make your insecurities more and more sophisticated. In the process, it is complicated. So sophisticated insecurities are nothing but complicated insecurities. So here he says, please understand, better to adopt Ishvara-centric lifestyle. Continuing. Majjita sarvadurgani mat prasadat tarishyasi atha chettam ahankarat na srushyasi vinakshasi. He says, look, mat chitaha. So, mat chitaha means keeping your mind fixed on me. What will happen if you keep fixing the mind in me all the time? Because of Ishvara-centric lifestyle, sarva durgani tarishyasi. So you will be able to cross over all obstacles in your life. And we'll see there are different type of obstacles. So put all the obstacles will be divided into 3 categories. And he says beautifully, why it happens? Mat prasadat iti. Because of my grace. Whereas, gives warning, athachet, if not, but if, tvam na shreyasi. So, tvam na shrushyasi. Shrushyasi means if you don't listen to, na shrushyasi, if you don't listen to me. Means if you don't adopt Ishvara-centric lifestyle, then what happens? You will be forced to live ahankara-centric lifestyle, ego-centric lifestyle. Then he says, ahankarat vinakshyati. Due to ahankara, you will perish. I think I'll stop it and we'll take up this verse again. Please close your eyes. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.